An Australia without rugby league is not Australia. Rugby league has been a fabric of our society for hundreds of years. It's people's escape, it's people's relaxation, and we need to do everything in order to continue that great tradition of rugby league.
It has been those Australians who have worked hard every day. They have their dreams, they have their aspirations. These are the quiet Australians who have won a great victory tonight.
Good afternoon, Chris Gale, Dennis Carnahan, and our special guest today, Lara Pitt. We're going to be talking double melon or a melon on a melon.
Double falcon.
Double falcon. We'll be talking duck eggs, maybe. We'll be talking Mad Monday, not.
At all.
And a whole bunch of other stuff here on Fire Up the Quiet Australia. Hey, Chris, a nod from our sponsors, please.
Absolutely, Stephen. It is a quiet Australia these days with no Mad Mondays. And I got a little bit noisy, though, last Thursday night because I ordered a Doughboy pizza. I made it myself. Yeah, well, I ordered it myself.
Yeah.
And enjoyed the Broncos winning the wooden spoon. So get onto doughboypizza.com.au and enter the code FIREUP for 20% off.
Schadenfreude, Chris, is that the word we're using here?
There's a fair bit of Schadenfreude going around at the moment. We might come to the Roosters in a moment.
And Craig Bellamy.
Absolutely. And also, we send out our thanks to manscaped.com, the
Yeah.
definitive word in
Yeah.
all over male grooming.
Is manscaping something you can talk about in public?
Increasingly.
Is it really like, it's like, you know, I went to hospital and they cut me and did this. You don't do it. You know, manscaping, just keep it to your bathroom. You
Lara
know?
begins to blush and giggle.
My father, God bless him, fought in the Second World War.
Yeah.
In order for us to be able to talk about
These freedoms.
manscaped.com, enter in the code FIREUP and you'll get 20% off while you're taking the hair off.
Rightio. Okay. Now, well, it's the end of the season. It's the end of my team, the Dragons. Is it the end of yours, Chris?
Yes, we bid a fond farewell to 11 players out at Bankwest Stadium on Saturday night.
11. We'll get to that soon.
So I think we call it a mass exodus.
Lara, I know we're three of us here in some minor professional role, major professional, very major professional role. Your Dragons are out. Does it really matter to you?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It matters to my children who are already brainwashed and who
Great.
are still trying to understand the fact that they are not playing this weekend.
Yes,
We
yes.
have to try and explain to them what once you're out of the top 8. They still thought at 13th that they were a chance
They were
of
good
playing this
mathematically.
weekend. And I don't even know, where did we finish in the end?
12?
12.
12, yeah.
Yes, I think we came 11th,
Yeah.
which I have to say is an enormous relief not to come 9th. Which
but,
it is.
but can we point out that this is, how many years have you missed the top 8?
Yes, we haven't been there since
This
2011.
is the 9th year that you've missed the top 8.
Yeah, it's a huge
9.
exercise in futility.
I just love Dennis because your team, you're just loving it over there.
so
That's clearly
I'm just
why you're
delighted.
able to do that. Were you a fan of the wildcard system then, Chris?
No.
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 Good.
No,
Because
no.
I've always thought maybe it's a Tigers fan thing.
Though you reminded us on one of the many Fox League shows you're on, Lara, the fan, about the era when there was the top 10. You and Bossy were talking about finals runs when
Yes.
I think
Bossy
1998.
educates me many,
Right, so it's when
on
the-
many things.
It was,
yes.
it was on
Things
the
you may have
dogs
missed,
run.
Lara.
Yeah, I think I had to ask him about it.
You-
He's an almanac.
You did 3 finals run on your episode
Yes,
last
we
week.
did.
The Dogs in 98
Yes.
didn't win. Who was the Parramatta in 2009
Yep.
didn't win.
Yep.
But the Tigers 2005 did win. So thank you for that. But when they brought the 2 Super League and the ARL back together, they had the top 10. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
That's 20 teams, halfway.
I don't like rewarding mediocrity.
No, Vossi, we love Vossi. You know, Glenn A. Baker used to be called the rock brain of the universe. Vossi is beyond that when it comes to the league brain of the universe. He's genius level, isn't he?
He is like a kid in a candy store. Every day he comes
Sugar hit-
to work. It's not
sugar
rubbish.
hit-
Like you'd think, is he being serious sometimes? Like
Yeah.
with the level of enthusiasm, I want to drink
he-
what he's drinking every day.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love my job, but I still can't sell it the way he sells it. Like
The only
seriously.
person I've seen that's on the same level is actually Johnny Gibbs. Johnny Gibbs, he comes up, he'll pull out a statistic, and you sit there, where's he reading that from? He just knows it. And he can't speak on radio. You know, you're meant to be sitting down. He gets up, and he is tactile, and he cannot speak without having his hands on the commentator,
Isn't
without
rugby league a
jumping
great
around.
repository for those sorts of brains?
Yeah, we actually saw Vossi on Parramatta at the Parramatta Tigers game on Saturday night. We were in the car park, and Braith arrived and Vicey, both in the immaculate fox suits.
Yeah.
And they kind of run the gauntlet, right? Because, fanboys like us want to stop them.
Yeah.
And they're hard to catch up with. And I was with Tigers fan Big T, and he said, Andrew, I just need to shake your hand. He kindly obliged.
Wow, in COVID times.
slow-
That's unboxed.
Well,
Yeah.
there might have been an elbow.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
because he doesn't like that.
Don't
He's
dob
not a
him in.
touchy-feely.
And then I said, Andrew, Chris from Fire Up, Dennis is worried whether he's actually ever going to appear on the fan. He just sped up and disappeared.
No commitment.
No
commitment, yeah.
Yeah, he's so popular. We'll be out filming on various locations for the fan, and inevitably someone will drive past. Yeah, Bossy, toot toot. They love him.
I heard him say he was at a. You were doing some shooting, and there was a bikie funeral that came past for someone who'd been murdered, and he said, "Oh, we were a bit nervous and they're a bit scared." And then someone walks past, and they're all looking pretty somber and angry and ready to cut loose. And it's like, "Oh, Vossi!" Suddenly they're all-
Brighten their lives.
Yeah, brighten their lives
Yeah.
up.
Is this part of your training, though, to run the gauntlet as you get to games? Because otherwise you'll be signing autographs and doing
Oh,
selfies.
please, no.
Seriously?
Sometimes you get the odd, oh, there's Lara Pitt, or there's Erin Molan. I'm like, no, I'm Lara Pitt. We're both blonde, but that is it. No, but it is actually, there's been the odd occasion where a fan will come up and have a chat about when we were doing League Life and talk about how wonderful it is for, this is one thing that strikes home with me is when you hear fathers and mothers come up and say, it's so wonderful to have you on our screens talking about footy. Apart from the fact that their kids now and their daughters now want to watch it,
Yeah.
often their wives want to watch it now, and their
Yeah,
husbands
yeah.
are very grateful for
Yeah.
that.
That is true. That this gender sort of revolution has happened very quickly, hasn't it? In what was often many male-dominated industries, and a lot of, as we all know, a lot of women play and a lot of women watch. And sport, obviously, as a business, it needs to be open and inclusive.
Yeah, but also I think League Life particularly struck home with people because we told different stories and we also were able to ask different questions and we were interested in different things to maybe what the male-dominated panels were.
Yes.
So.
I mean, you had an ability to get to the emotional core of players.
We didn't
and-
mean to make everyone
And to get the
cry.
No,
joy.
it was-
Is that the goal every week?
It was just
was.
it was just like watching Australian Story. I mean, everyone's crying.
You gotta cry.
But-
Where do you come from?
And I had the opportunity. I think we were doing a Newtown Jets fundraiser, and Yvonne Sampson was there, and I sort of chipped her because I said, "You've made us like Ricky Stewart." I mean, because we saw what he did, autism and his daughter, and so forth. And we saw the human side of Ricky, which,
Yep.
as a fan, you didn't want to see that
And
because
last
you end up
week-
liking
No.
the guy.
And
No.
last week on Fire Up, you said, "Ricky Stewart, I love you."
We were
I've
raising-
replayed
we were
that
raising
over
money
and
for the
over
station.
and over again.
We
Chris.
were
I was
raising
so
money for the
happy.
station.
He'd
Look,
say anything.
Dennis, I'll do it for you one more time.
Yeah.
I love you, Ricky Stewart.
I have to
So
say
do
that's
I.
a big part of this job now. I spoke about before we came in here that I used to hate a lot of teams. I used to hate a lot of players. But then when you get to hear their stories, often in what I do, I have that privilege. You realise that you can't actually
No,
hate
we don't
them.
want to release the hate.
Yeah,
you
but
see.
hang on.
We-
Are there
we
any
need-
that go the other way?
We need the
But I-
distance.
Yeah,
the more
there
you
are,
interview
but I'm
them, the more
not-
the more you dislike them.
I went through
A
that.
couple.
I went through that experience in 2014 because, being a Balmain fan, I hate South Sydney for what happened in 1909. Correct, Redfern and Pat? Never forgive them. Right? Never forgive
Never.
them. I mean,
You
it
were
happened
there.
Active
111 years ago, and yes, I was
You were
there.
there.
But I happened to be sitting at the grand final against the Bulldogs, are mainly predominantly South fans and grown people. Yes, Australian Story, League Life, crying, and you go, I get it. I get the pain you've suffered, and I get the release and the joy, and you just start to like them a little bit more.
This is all. Let's cut this bullshit, right? Enough of this, let's get into the. First of all, we expect a fairy tale finish at the end of the year, and what was it, 20 rounds instead of 26? It was a really weird year. We St George fans had it tough from beginning to end. Little tick at the end. But the Cinderella farewell story didn't go to plan for most of them, did it? I mean, we know that Adam Blair got the haka. It was a beautiful moment.
Yes.
Much loved man.
Goosebumps.
Goosebump
everywhere.
time,
Yep.
yeah. But many didn't. Benji Marshall, let's start with him.
Well, it was an interesting situation. As I said, it was a mass exodus for the Tigers as we were sort of clearing house, and then there were actually people who were retiring from the Tigers.
didn't know.
I said I didn't know played for us. I didn't recognise any of these guys. And then, so you had the if we've got for the video, we've got the Chris Lawrence face mask and the Benji Marshall farewell
Yes,
poster.
yes.
And then there was a little farewell card.
There they are.
as well.
Yes, yes.
Should we put them on?
Yeah, why not?
I'd love one of those.
I
yeah.
would only do this for Chris.
Oh, I've given too many away.
Such a nice guy.
But you also, they had cookies. They had iced cookies, which I didn't get any of.
And,
Ice cookies,
you know,
for
and
what
I-
reason?
Well, with Chris and Benji on them, with like a little yin and yang and white and orange and,
See, that's
and Chris and
that's
Benji.
taxpayer money the ABC's spending.
No,
on
that wasn't the ABC. There's the Tigers
really?
did it.
Oh, right.
That was your membership money. It was your sponsorship dollar, and I
look-
didn't get any.
And look, I was really fortunate to be Chris's player sponsor for about 6 years.
Yes,
and
yes.
Kath and Emerson, and just like
Lovely man, right?
terrific.
Here
right?
we go again.
Yeah, and it was just it was a picture perfect send off as they did the lap of honour. But
Yeah.
Benji, of course, who had sustained 3 injuries in the one tackle,
Yeah.
head, ribs, and knee.
So couldn't play the farewell game.
No, HIA was okay for that, but couldn't get back on the field.
And fair to him, he doesn't see it as a farewell game, does he?
no, because he's not retiring.
No, and
Right.
also because of the way he was punted, not told,
Did he read it in the
went
paper?
to the
Is
press.
he the one that read
Yes,
the- Oh.
didn't bring his family.
His family was not there,
Mm.
but he did use the Fox League coverage to pitch a job, actually. And he sort of described, he said, and I agree with him, he says, TAC was as good this year as it's pretty much ever been. Kind of brushed over the defensive liabilities a little bit and says, how am I selling myself? So, so for Benji, it's the next step, and it's a terrific journey, and it just was a slightly odd farewell, though, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he had one already. Didn't
Well,
he?
yeah.
He didn't end well last time.
Yeah, but
That's one thing. There was a couple of farewells, and admittedly, the big thing is he didn't want to go. I think he wanted to go out on
Yeah.
his own terms. And
Wouldn't you-
Benji's he's the heart and soul of that team, and it's just sad. I think the fans would have liked to see him.
10,000 signatures on the petition not to go.
And
I didn't
surely if you've only got
think he
1
should
year
go.
left and you like Cameron Smith, you'd want to just finish where you were.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And
But-
especially because he's probably not on the coin that a lot of those players that aren't
Yeah.
performing are on.
Which is which is why I because if we talk about Cameron Smith, who
Yeah.
I think the clock is he's now about 962 days since his first testimonial in farewell. If he's the most evil entity at the moment for mine, Ivan Cleary the most evil man in rugby league,
Right.
largely for the legacy
Yeah.
he left when he
And-
got off the bus
Oh,
at Penrith.
wow.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I mean, with that hair
So
and
this is the hate.
Oh,
You
the
have-
blowing-
These are
well,
the hate people.
The blowing
is
of the
it?
kisses, the
Okay.
pointing
I
of
go
the
like South
scoreboard.
fans, but what clear? I mean, honestly, you
And
got off
what's
the
even
bus at
worse is
Penrith.
that, and what's even worse is that he's having success at Penrith that he didn't give you,
You
that
wanna-
you were due at the West Tigers.
You want to know the thing that made me most furious this year with Cleary? And let me tell you, there's a long list. It's when they were down 6-0 early to us, and Penrith hadn't been behind on the scoreboard for like months or something, and he goes, you know, it was good for us to be tested, to be put in a different environment, see how the boys responded. And I was very, and that's more animation than Ivan has, obviously. Anyway,
Oh my
anyway,
goodness.
Hey, listen-
Varley, Chris Lawrence, and Benji
I feel
Marshall.
like we need some therapy.
There are a lot of stories this week, but I think
That's what this is.
the big one was the Chooks. I don't know if we've exhausted that yet.
Well, I don't think we have, and I think
I want to say hello to all my Chook friends. You know,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They've
How
all been very
delightful was
quiet.
that?
No one's answering their
Very
phones. Do you
quiet.
find that they aren't answering their phones this week?
yes.
Charlie Lambert, how are you,
Brett
chap?
Oden, hello.
I'm on a Chooks
Should I call
WhatsApp,
him?
Lara. I don't know if you do WhatsApp with fellow Dragons fans, but after 10 minutes it was, oh gosh, I love Josh Morris and how good are we and whatever.
Yeah.
And by about the 20-minute mark, the expletives, people leaving the conversation, the fury, and it ended in a crescendo, which I think we have a little bit of audio of here.
Take the two. They want 60. The Rabbits fans want blood. They want 60, Andrew.
So you're telling me up at Nana Glen, Russell Crowe is half naked, yowling at the moon.
Yep.
He's just...
Like, yes, he is.
He's just gone wild. And Reynolds for 60. Right at. He's got it. They've declared their innings at 60. It is a wipeout.
You can't top that. You can't top that.
See, you can like Souths.
You can. Yeah, absolutely. I was going for South, I have to say.
The only
It was a surreal game, wasn't it? Absolutely surreal.
It was
They just seemed to
fantastic.
like the Roosters had it.
Oh.
Done
For
deal.
10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sitting there
You were
the
there?
first few minutes sideline. I think I turned to Ralph
Yep.
and I said, oh, the Rabbitohs are terrible. Look at
They're done.
their forwards. They can't get back in their attack. Like
You
look
know
at them.
what
They're just slow.
one-
They're terrible. I thought they were done.
I've seen no analysis of this apart from a certain Rabbitohs chat room. The change in the game was when Mark Nichols came on.
Oh, yeah.
No one knows it. Nosy Nichols.
The Peter Cusack of his
he's
time.
He came on and he changed the game. He had one try disallowed. This is a try-scoring freak who scored 2 tries this year. He's gone try assist, try assist.
I thought
For
the turning
7
point
years.
was when Sonny Bill came on.
No. It was Nosy Nichols. Watch out for Nosy in the final.
I'm just joking.
He's gonna. He's just that. You know, he gets the ball and he just goes forward 8 metres
yeah.
and gets tackled.
Yeah.
And that's his job. But that's what they needed at the time.
Yeah.
8 metres forward, tackle.
Well, I was at the
straight.
game the week before when they got absolutely embarrassed by the last place Bulldogs, who then weren't the last place Bulldogs after that. But I remember speaking to Damien Cook straight after the game, and he said it was a wake-up call. And then I spoke to a few people at South during the week, and it was like, what happened in that game? And they just said that it's almost like they went out there and thought someone else was going to do it for them. And that's been their problem all year. They can put a big score on, not 60, but if you look at them...
Actually, they can.
Yeah, but
it
if you
turns
look...
out.
but once, right? So
Yeah.
then I went back and I looked at their whole season. They've done it roughly every 4 weeks, they put on a big score. And then the next couple of weeks after that, they're either in a tight loss or a loss.
Yeah.
A tight loss or a tight win, sorry. So they have this ability where Cody has a cracker and they have this incredible, everyone's like, wow, you know, so excited by them. But they haven't been able to do that every single week
See,
consistently.
Cody's been talking up Nosy Nichols. Cody's been saying, "Oh, he's a
Nosy
freak, he's a
Nichols.
try-scoring freak."
Can I
Loving
just?
him.
I like when Cook said wake up call. I actually go to Roosters season tickets with friends as part of a community service order. I got to go to Roosters games, and there's a guy behind us who always yells out, "Wake up, Roosters!" And
That's his thing, is
and
it?
it always strikes me as like I think they are awake. I mean,
But also, I think
Not
necessarily
them.
the thing is, traditionally, that's the job of the rooster, is to wake you up.
Yes, the rooster crows.
Crows in the morning. What
We
the
have a
hell?
scoop though, don't we? Because we've claimed, obviously, this Mount Kilimanjaro speech has never failed yet.
Yeah.
But it's been put to rest, apparently, Lara.
Yeah, I've been told there's a different story.
There's a new one coming.
There's a new story that's been building.
narrative.
That's a new
Come on, call it a
narrative.
narrative.
From
Is it
Robbo.
biblical?
No, but
Shakespearean?
it's to do with Sydney. So you know how Robbo is very big on
Yes.
the story. So
Yes.
Mount Kilimanjaro was what he did in the off-season,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
But this is something to do with bringing home the message
We
that the
can't
Roosters
wait.
are Sydney. So
Right.
there's
The
some-
Roosters are Sydney.
I think it's around that. That's what I'm taking from it. But it's...
I'm feeling Sydney Olympic torch relay.
Yeah.
By the way, eventually the
Do you
players.
think Kathy Freeman might be involved?
Well,
Hey?
Well, yeah, because it's
Hello?
all about those kind of things,
Those
right?
things,
The
big things,
anniversaries.
yeah.
He's apparently got someone in to talk about this, and
Surely
throughout
Kathy
the
wouldn't be
year.
a Roosters fan.
Surely not.
Surely
Is she?
not.
my only mail on this. Well, first
She's
of all,
is she North Coast?
I thought she.
you're Queensland originally, I think. Yeah.
Queensland.
I
She's
was
too
gonna say
young.
Melbourne, so I have no idea.
She lives in Melbourne now.
Same thing.
Yes. Okay.
But my only comments on this was, first of all, eventually the players are going to twig when Robbo would come in on game day and give a speech that begins tomorrow's game day, which was the Kilimanjaro speech. So they eventually worked that out.
Yes, I think that was actually the problem on this game.
Yeah.
Was
There was-
he
there was
gave
a
it on
flaw
the
in
day.
it. That's right,
that's right. They work it
Previously,
out.
at
Give
the
it the day
captain's
before.
run, he'd say tomorrow's game day. So the speech was at captain's run.
Yeah.
He gave it on the day.
But the changes.
So they're all like,
palpable.
oh, sweet. Let's
tomorrow.
Got to get an early night tonight.
Let's
take it easy. We'll get a captain's run against the
not
Rabbitohs. That's
awake
okay.
anymore.
Have a run, Cody. It's all
Oh,
good.
I always thought it was amazing that it worked up in North Queensland because it was actually game day and it was subtropical and he
Yeah.
gave a speech that he gave on a freezing mountain. But
Yeah.
but already the narrative's changing because Sonny Bill has been interviewed and he describes this Friday's game against Penrith as our little Mount Everest.
Little Mount Everest.
So we're moving on.
Right.
And of course, Mount Everest is featured very heavily on your show
On the fan.
all year, Lara.
Yes.
I
The
don't understand.
question,
What's
the
that
trick
about?
question. What was the tallest mount before Mount Everest was discovered? What was the tallest mountain in the world?
Oh, I said known tallest mountain.
yeah. What is it?
Oh, K2?
No. Before Mount Everest was discovered, what
Mount
was-
Kilimanjaro.
Mount Kosciuszko was usually the
That was
answer.
usually the answer.
But no, the trick question is, guys.
Yeah.
Mount Everest was still the tallest. It just
Of
hadn't
course
been
it is.
discovered.
Yes,
Yeah, we know
but we
that.
ask every
I thought
rugby
you said
league
no-
player this question.
But you
No,
actually
you
did come out.
projected.
Yeah,
You
I
projected.
did. So they scratch their head. They go. Oh,
They
gee
all
whiz.
came up with Mount Kosciuszko.
Kosciuszko.
I don't know why they think Mount Kosciuszko is
we had-
even in the same ballpark, but
We had a mountaineer on last week and discussed exactly that.
Yeah,
And he
right.
said the theory was that they're thinking it's a trick question.
yeah.
There's so many mountains in the world.
It
what
must
other
be
mountains do I
somewhere
know?
here.
Let's call it. Now,
Yeah.
from my understanding, Mount Kosciuszko is 2,800 metres. Everest about 6.5 kilometres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a long way from
Yeah,
second.
I
where
climbed
is-
it on my year 5 school camp. It's no way that it's anywhere near.
Did you go to Blue Lake Surf?
I don't remember.
So where is Little Mount Everest?
Well,
Penrith.
Penrith.
So it's
Oh,
all, it's
okay,
all,
we're back to the real story.
it's
here.
all-
Katoomba.
it's the first of the Blue Mountains. It's actually
it's the foothills.
if you go into the Panthers World
Yeah.
of Entertainment,
You
they've
go
got
past the
the
little pharaoh, the little pyramid.
they've got aqua golf, Reactor 1, I think, is still there, the nightclub, and the actual first
With a
hillock
K.
on the way up to the
And they've got the Royce Simmons Lifestyle Retirement Centre. Yeah, they're just building
And
it.
the Centre of Excellence.
and the Rugby League Academy.
Let's have a break. We'll come back in a minute with Quiet Australia here. Fire up. Lara Pitt, Dennis Carnahan, Chris Gale, myself, Stephen Ferris.
Here's Vasquez. Look at him. It's Pavarotti who brings it back, and he plays it quickly as well. 25 metres out, Graham.
If you're as good as you say he is opera singing, what is he doing playing in the front row?
I don't know.
Hello?
Stephen, Dennis, Lara, welcome back to Fire Up's Quiet Australia.
Thank you, Chris.
So smooth, Chris.
Thank you very much. It's sort of takes me back to my commercial radio days back in the Keating administration.
Last year.
One thing we like to do is give due credit to our sponsors, and this year we've been joined by Manscaped.com, the final definitive word.
The last word.
All over male grooming. I have a friend of mine who pointed out that he's a big fan of the SBS show, which is made by German television, called Adam Seeks Eve, Promise in Paradise. And it's a dating show where everybody is naked. And let me tell you,
Do you remember the Naked News?
I do remember the Naked News on the Comedy Channel. And it's fair to say that the gentlemen, not as scary to be seen. And they could do this really safely and comfortably if they go for Manscaped.
Yes.
So get onto manscaped.com, put in the code FIREUP, you get 20% off. Right now, they're offering the Perfect Package 3.0.
Yeah.
That includes the lawnmower. That's your actual scaper.
Yep.
That's your main
It's
engine.
waterproof,
The sculptor.
Skin safe
skin safe.
and an electric trimmer.
Yes.
There is the Crop Preserver, which is the anti-chafing ball deodorant.
Oh my goodness.
Crop Reviver,
you say
ball
that
toner
good?
and refresher. Remember, Christmas is coming up, everybody.
Yes.
And
What
the
are you
Magic
gonna get for your
Mat,
dad?
which are disposable shaving mats. And you get free gifts. You get the Shed Travel bag and the Manscaped boxes, which are anti-chafing.
Right.
And the really great thing about Manscaped is that their mission is to make a more open and confident male culture that results in guys. I look around the room
Well,
for
just
most
be
of us.
honest. That's what men want.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Do we need it,
Absolutely.
though?
Let's stop
Do you
making a
need more
joke about
confidence?
it.
To be more proactive about self-care and health. So they've
Yeah.
partnered
Yeah.
with the Testicular Cancer Society, a not-for-profit organisation to raise awareness about the most common form of
Great,
cancer
great.
in men aged 15 to 35 and provide help and support to fighters, survivors, caregivers and Roosters fans.
And Lara, just put that thought aside. You've got 3 young boys.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I've got to look. I've got to
When
look
they're
forward
ready.
to making them very hygienic, and my house is going to stink for the next 2
Take
decades.
out
so-
some futures. They
Yeah.
probably have a futures plan.
I'm just learning how to clean up the toilet mess. To be honest.
Oh.
It's going to be amazing.
Now,
Wow.
Lara,
Any of them toilet trained?
They're all toilet. Well, no, sorry, the new one isn't, but the other 2 are. But it
Oh,
doesn't mean a thing.
We had a friend.
There's
She
a
had
mess.
2 kids born exactly 1 year apart, and the first one, they were over the dinner. He went to the bathroom. I thought, I was going to go in and
Make it.
it was immaculate. The seat was down.
Oh,
He'd
yeah.
washed his hands. He'd actually dabbed the sink.
Oh.
Second one went in, hosed the place,
Yes.
just hosed it out.
Clearly
Came
younger.
out shaking his hands.
oh,
Yeah.
God.
You know Larry David's secret to a successful relationship?
Not living together?
Separate bathrooms.
Separate bathrooms.
Yes,
perfect,
I'd
yeah.
like that. If you can do it, that'd be good.
Now, Lara, you're our guest this week. You are beyond triple threat. Degrees in commerce/business, event management,
I don't know if that means
broadcasting
triple
of some
threat.
sort.
I think that just means I had no idea.
You have been with Fox Sports since 2007?
Six. Yeah.
Okay. And you've done a number of shows, I imagine, over that period of
have,
time.
yeah.
On game, during game, post game. Tell us all about your experiences when you first got there. Was it challenging?
Did you
Was
go
it difficult?
from 9?
I went from everywhere. So I was studying and did a number of work experience stints at a number of places. But then at the same time, Fox Sports was starting the newsroom up. So my first gig, actually, my foot in the door moment was in what they call the logging department, which is hugely glamorous.
The
So
logging.
all you basically did was get
Rupert's
shift
deforestation.
work and watch sport and put time
Oh,
codes
yeah.
down
Yep.
when big moments happen, so
Wow.
that then the news guys
They can
could go,
touch.
what happened overnight at 1 a.m. in that event?
Right.
Oh, there was a few stars next to that moment. I'll
Essential
go have a look.
job.
Yeah, very important.
Yep,
So
yep.
then my plan was, once I was in the building doing whatever job it was, they weren't going to
Second
get
foot in
rid
the
of
door.
me. Yeah, so started making some meetings up and trying to meet important people in there, and eventually harassed my way into the newsroom.
Was
and
there a
did-
mentor, like somebody who actually sort of facilitated your career change?
I met a number of important people over the time I was in the logging department, and sort of got some advice on what I needed to do. And when I eventually got the job, it was putting the info in the ticker. That was my first job. So I don't know if you remember Fox
The
Sports
info and the
News.
ticker. I love that.
Back in the
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
you
yeah.
press the red button. I don't know if you remember Fox Sports
yeah.
News. You press
Yeah,
the red
yeah,
button,
yeah,
and
yeah.
all the news, what we were saying, was in the written word as well. So I had to. That was my job, just to
It was,
put all the
it
words.
was the last thing
in.
to come into HD was Fox Sports News from my memory. There was a
Yes.
period of time when it wasn't HD, and that really upset me.
Yeah,
of course,
well,
yeah.
then we all looked like you could see that the hair and makeup job that we were doing, which wasn't great.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
But yeah, so from there, then just became a junior reporter, presenter. Presenting wasn't my thing. I wasn't very confident at all,
What were you
naturally.
aiming for then?
I just wanted to be a journo, like
Yeah,
be
yeah.
on the road, write interview, write stories. But then
You want to be Paul
ultimately,
Kent.
yeah, no, hardly Paul Kent. I don't even know how to be an inch of what
You
Paul
can't
Kent
be
could
that miserable.
No.
Who was your competition then?
I feel like we're in a very supportive environment at
environment
Fox
is very nice,
Sports.
very nice.
Yeah,
Who are your colleagues?
my colleagues. Well, I'd say probably a number of them are still there, which says a lot, I guess. Jess and I started at the same time, Jessica Yates. There's been a lot of people that have gone on to move into other departments or other networks, but Nick McCardle was there at the time.
Fluffy.
Adam Peacock, David Murdoch, sorry.
Right.
Do you remember Murdoch? Do you remember him? He was
I
one of
don't.
the newsreaders. Ryan Phelan was there at
Yeah.
the time.
Yep.
So Louise Ransom. Anyway, there was a heap of us, and then eventually, I ultimately had always wanted to go into rugby league full time, and I felt like that was mostly because when you're in the newsroom, you have to sort of cover a heap of sports, and you don't get to sink your teeth into just one.
Yep.
And yeah, again, it was a case of just harassing people to get
Why?
the job.
Why rugby league?
Well, because I loved it the most. I think I love a lot of sports, but rugby league was my passion and the sport that I followed on
And
the
why
weekends
though?
the
Why?
most.
What is it
Just,
about? Do you have to explain it to an American or
the game,
the game? Yeah.
the drama,
The drama.
the soap opera, the game itself, watching it. I mean, I think if you sit on the sideline, I don't know if you sat next to me, you're usually upstairs, but
Yep.
I ride every emotion, even
Do you?
now.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not even invested in any of the teams as
No.
much as I was.
No.
But yeah, I think it's such a thrill watching the games unfold.
That thrill. Okay. We all talk about the Kathy Freeman, that race. You know, what is the rugby league moment equivalent for you?
The 2010 grand final.
2010 grand final.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll
Doesn't
save it.
that
Can we
bring
just
a,
hold
doesn't
that
that bring a smile to
'cause I-
Stephen's face?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then-
Was
but
that,
then-
was that when
say-
Gaz ran out? Was that
I was going to say 2015, and Jonathan Thurston was probably the
Yes.
most exciting grand final I've ever witnessed.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I would have to say I was at the 2014 grand final in the South Sydney box. I just happened to be
Oh, that's nice.
with Bob McCarthy, George Higgins,
wow.
and I got to see the emotion
Wow,
on their
yeah,
faces
yeah.
when they won that. And then I was at the Cowboys game up in the stands,
Yeah.
and then I don't know if I was at the Sharks game, but I mean. I actually can speak a lot about that Cowboys game as well, and I'm not even a fan of that
No.
team, but that was one of the best moments. But even things like after a game when a coach has like a complete meltdown in the press conference, like that's the moment I live for. Like I'm not normal.
Who has the most meltdowns?
I just remember Ricky for sure. Ricky has had the best
We've had this
ones.
discussion with other journalists that,
Yeah.
that Ricky needs to take you aside, give you a good slapping to establish that he's Ricky Stewart, and then you find, have you been slapped by Ricky? Is Ricky taking you aside?
Metaphorically, I assume.
Yeah, this is metaphorically. This is verbally.
I haven't been what do we call it? Slapped by Ricky. I've had a stoush with Des, but that's not uncommon.
Oh, that's easy. Come on.
Everyone's had one with Des. But I think that with Ricky, like he has the same journos in Canberra at his home games, and you can tell that he's eyeballing them, and a lot of them are scared of him.
And
That's the feeling I get.
I
They're
saw what you
scared
wrote
of
last
him.
week.
Yeah,
You asked me that
he-
question
yeah,
after what you wrote
he
last week. You expect an answer?
Intimidates. Yeah, I love Ricky.
But you
That's
might have
That's
seen
another one.
You might
You're
have
the
seen,
only one here that hasn't said I love
No, I
Ricky.
have. No. There was an American journalist that put up Lee Sales' interview with Huckabee
Yep.
Sanders Jones, whatever
Yep.
her name is,
Yep.
saying this is what we can't get to do because
Love
they
that.
cut you out of the picture if you're not going to ask what they want to hear. Whereas this woman, because she was pushing your book, got suckered in, by Lee
So
Sales. It
good.
was just brutal,
It
wasn't it?
was so good. No, because in America maybe they don't show,
That-
maybe they're all the gender driven, I don't know, or they're on a different side of politics
Yeah.
depending on.
Yeah.
Can I ask, because you mentioned Paul Kent, and he's obviously originally a print journal, right?
Well, I
And
mentioned Paul
he's
Kent. She didn't.
But he's clearly an enormous fan of the tradition of sports writing in the United States. So sports journalism in the United States in the written form is advanced on what we're able to achieve here. And similarly in
Would
TV...
you agree with that?
Is it? I'm not across how they write over in America as much.
All
as
those guys.
They get a lot more
Sports
long form.
Illustrated,
They get
whatever.
a lot more long form articles.
They get a lot
than-
more
Yeah,
respect,
okay.
actually. From the general publication.
The ones that
world.
here are just Rodney Dangerfield.
Well, as we say,
I can't get no respect.
Nick Walshaw, the master of the metaphor, and that's been kind. But from a television point of view, if you look at ESPN, which itself has gone through some budget difficulties, and Fox has gone through budget difficulties, but is there a desire to sort of be able to advance what you guys are able to do in terms of the depth and the things that you can make?
I think that, I mean, I could be wrong, and maybe I've got blinkers on because I work there, but I think that already a lot of that show in particular, and Kenty, and everyone has their opinion on, on what agendas are driven and all those things. I get that, but I think that show does set the agenda already.
What, 360?
A lot,
So
yeah.
I think NRL 360 is the best show on TV, and you now are on the Wednesday panel. with
Sorry, hard
Hoops.
quiz.
No. Rugby. Maybe I was saying rugby league show.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
Because
Quiz with
from the
the
moment
Canberra Raiders fan on it. That one.
from the moment it started, you had ostensibly an ex-player and you had a journalist, which changed the orientation of the show. So you weren't just getting a bunch of ex-players sitting on a couch going, if he runs hard, he'll play good. And I think that has been a real change, and you saw Channel 9 imitate it with 100% footy to a degree.
Yeah.
I've had an idea that maybe one thing that you're not covering, which we're happy to step up for, is,
Yes.
like, I don't know, NRL 365, where it's us and the player agents. Because if there's one faction that we never see on our screens are these player agents, these people of mystery.
Faceless.
They're a dark sort of
Faceless
spectre,
men in the
aren't they?
background.
Hey, what hard quiz? Can I just say, who would be the 4 great league brains of the universe who could battle it out on hard quiz?
Oh, Ricky
Have you
Stewart,
put Vossi
Gus
in there?
Gould,
Well, Gus, Kenty.
Gus.
Ricky.
Oh, what about David Middleton?
So does it have to be someone who knows numbers and...
Just they're chosen, you might say, just Canberra Raiders, grand finals. You can pick your subject, of course.
Oh,
Yeah,
is this a media person? Because there was a guy on, Chris,
Was
was the
there?
Raiders fan, and his
Was there?
special
Was
subject
there?
was the Canberra Raiders.
Missed that one.
And Tom Gleeson said to him, do you have any other interests? And he's just beautifully deadpanned, no, I just love the Raiders.
That's it.
On the two main streams of televisual coverage that we get the Fox and we get the Nine. Have there been any Anchorman style gangland war things, in the dirty zone between the two factions or anything?
drunken cross moments,
I mean,
Yeah. What happened on the weekend?
We're leading you here, aren't we?
I was having fish and chips on the floor at Cogra, and Freddie walked past and told me to get in touch with the earth. Like take your shoes
Did
off.
he have his shoes on?
Gave me shit for being from the eastern suburbs. That kind of
He
stuff.
can talk.
He can
Yeah.
talk.
He lives in Penrith now.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
can
say
he,
that.
but he
Yeah.
took the coin to go and win
Yeah.
premierships
I know.
there.
Okay,
He
I didn't
sold
think
it.
that at the time. Like, he's the New South Wales coach. He's all about the earth. For
course he
them.
is.
And he's about to run as
Yeah.
Gladys's running partner for the next election. That's our tip.
Is it?
Oh yeah, he's stepping
He's put
in.
Palaszczuk in a place,
He's
hasn't he?
put Palaszczuk in his place. And he's ready to
He's
run.
stoushing with the Premier. He's worried that the kids have got nothing to do. Children have to get off screens. When Andrew Webster was talking about the Jared Mullen redemption story, Freddie looks at the camera and goes, "But he was dealing drugs, right?" So they go,
Freddie's
yeah, to pay
running.
for his habit. And Freddie goes, "Drugs are bad." And it just felt like he was setting something up. I don't know. Can I ask on the Fan?
Yeah.
Which you joined this year.
I did join this year.
Yep.
So I think that's a side of me that people don't get to see, is that I am ultimately, I'm not as crazy as Vossi, as I've said, in
Yes.
terms of the enthusiasm levels, but ultimately when we're at work and we're chatting and there's a lot of opportunity to banter, that's also part of the reason why I loved working in the newsroom, is that all it is basically pub banter about sport all day long. I think we're all fans at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very chuffed when Vossi called me in the off season and invited me to join him on his show. I then told him I'm pregnant because it was still a secret at the time. And he's like, "Oh, how did how that happened?"
Yeah, exactly. Haven't you read the literature?
I'm
know
I'm
what causes
it's
it.
Not an accident, but thank you very much.
And normally you would plan your pregnancies for the
Yes,
off-season.
I didn't plan that one. So the other two were perfectly timed. And this guy, that's why he was a bit like, "Are you serious?
you
Like,
kidding
Lara,
me?
come on." But then COVID happened.
Yes.
So everyone was like, "You made this happen." Because then I had the baby in the COVID break. And then
beautiful.
I literally missed, I reckon, 2 weeks of the competition.
Right.
And
I
it's
came
called
back.
COVID?
It's Hamish COVID pit, yes.
You have big influence. I'm going to point out that
Hamish Corona.
since you've been at Fox Sports, the Tigers haven't won the comp. But anyway,
Yeah,
I'm sure
it's
there's no
all right.
coincidence.
Nor of the Raiders.
If you don't mind, one story you did recently that I thought was terrific, which would be great to share for people who may not have heard it, was the interviewing the rugby league wives.
Oh, they are just gold.
Mrs. Coote, McCarthy and Raper. Can you describe a bit about that?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
They're just of a different era of our time. They absolutely loved everything it was about rugby league. They all grew up in rugby league households, so then they happened to marry men who became rugby league royalty.
And the drunken shenanigans?
The drunken shenanigans, the fact that they were such good sports about all of
Yeah,
it. Like,
okay.
their men would go off to Europe for 4 months and play, and Johnny Raper would be like, bye, and take their husbands.
His pants
and
were already off.
They'd be crying. They'd have babies, you know, newborn babies. They'd come back and they'd be 5 months old, you know, and, you know, and stuff like sitting outside the pub in the car while their boys are drinking merrily inside for as long as they want.
Well,
This is after grand final
really,
wins. Yeah.
no, just
regular
after the
season.
game. Yeah.
So the
like,
cauliflower-
please, can you imagine the missus now?
The Cauliflower Hotel race on Botany.
We're doing
The
gender
collie-
reveals on the field. Do you think that would happen?
Yeah, the cauliflower.
Yeah, so just down the road from FBI Radio,
Yeah,
where we
yeah.
broadcast on a
Can
Friday.
someone take some chips out to my partner?
And well, it was always heartwarming to think that the two teams, South and St George, would go and have a drink up. But as was revealed on your show, they put all the kids in one car and the wives in the other. And talk about
Another world.
And then,
patience.
and then when they were all away on Australia Kangaroo tours, they'd all get together. All the women would get together for weeks on end and like have sleepovers, and all the kids would be together. And the other part that I loved was that they'd all have grand final jersey swaps, you know, as you
Yes.
do now, but back
The
then...
wives would?
No, sorry. The players would swap the jerseys at full time, and then they'd just keep them up in the cupboard. And then the kids would run up, put them on, and wash the car on the weekend in Reg Gasnier's jersey.
Yeah.
Like, as you do, or Graham Langland. And then none of them have anything left. None of them have any memorabilia because it wasn't a
passed out.
thing then.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
No
also
one
back
held
in then,
on to
you
it.
couldn't go to Lowe's or Rebel Sport and buy the replica jersey. That only the
didn't-
players had the jerseys.
Yeah.
The fans didn't have
And
them.
now Johnny Raper's wife has one of Johnny's jerseys.
Is that
One.
right?
That's it.
And there were great pictures of the touring Kangaroos in their blazers and the little pork pie hats. And one of the pictures you put up had Don Lane in the background as
Yeah,
well, who
yeah.
was the
And-
number one
yeah.
Rabbits
Rabbits
booster.
fan, yeah.
And I play basketball with his son.
Now, can I say, have you collected anything? Have you snaffled a jumper or a cap or a...
Oh, I think I've got a few blues,
you?
special pit blues, and
Yes.
all the kids have everything.
Do they?
I feel like I've been lucky enough to get sent heaps of drag and stuff for the kids just to
Yeah,
like make
yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
they're not going to defect in any other direction.
when they were this old, right?
And we've got the pool room, so we've got some incredible pieces downstairs, or a lot of frame things signed from 2010, and then some even more vintage things from back in the 11 in a row era.
Did you hear that, boys?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? Yeah.
2010.
Now, 11 in a row. Now, let's talk about 2010, yeah. Just tell me about your emotional
Can I simply
rollercoaster.
say, never before, never again, thank God.
Well, I did a newsroom shift the day of the 2010.
You were where?
I was at Fox Sports News in the newsroom in studio with
Oh, no.
no windows.
That's
but I
tough.
got off in time to get home. So
Did
we
you?
all made a pact as a family that we would have a huge party at our house to watch it
You
together.
could walk into the party prepared.
Yeah, so everything was done, and then I went to work, and then I came back, and then it was everyone, even our friends that weren't Dragons fans, knew that they had to come and be Dragons fans that night because my husband is obsessed, and then since the year of his birth in '79, they hadn't won.
Yeah,
So
God almighty, that's interesting to stat.
so it was a whole family thing, and then I've got incredible photos still. Videos weren't as big a thing as they are now, as crazy as that sounds in 2010, but lots of photo evidence, and then everyone went out straight afterwards and tried to party on into the night. But we
Set fire to a car.
but that was just an unbelievable feeling, and
Yes.
I feel like you carry that feeling of being a choker with the players, and that's how it felt for so long.
Gee, they laid it on with the trowel, though, didn't they?
And
The
being
journos, I mean, really.
and then being at the games when, like, I'd be around fellow Dragons fans and they would be laying into the players because there were so many years of we should have
One
won.
of my
we
favourite
should have won.
moments, that little play in front of the field goal's going to come, the field goal's coming, pick up the ball, straight over for a try. And everyone's watching Jamie Soward. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Just rubbing their nose in it.
Over those many, many years of desolation and despair.
Is that right, Chris?
2005.
99 is the one that got away. All the others probably by rights.
Yeah,
no,
don't
no.
You were,
92,
2009 they
93.
finished top of
no,
the
I'm saying in the
top.
grand final though.
No, exactly. But when you know you're the best team all year, and you just stuff it in the 4 weeks of the finals. That's just makes you feel
but
sick.
But that's not choking. Don't say it's choking because that will be sorry.
I have to say, 2005, one of my happy memories, if you want to get on to me, was playing you guys in the qualifying final.
Exactly, but this is the year that I was there crying, leaving Allianz Stadium with my whole family. That's horrible. That feeling. You never forget that.
You could actually see it in the body language. Like Brett Hodgson ran out. How good is this? Smiling, laughing. We were up, and St George seemed to carry the weight of expectation in that particular day.
I don't buy it. 2010, as soon as the Roosters were the first team through, I knew we had clinched it. I knew exactly
the biggest
we were
game
gonna
was
win.
against the Tigers.
Yeah,
I could
huge.
not sit still. I was at ANZ. I was like, I'm going to
me
vomit.
too.
I was walking up to the,
the voms?
concourse. I was like, I can't watch. We're going to lose this again. It's all
I was
over.
sitting next to Barry O'Farrell and his family, and they were like death.
Drinking grape.
As soon as they won that, I knew they'd won the grand final. Yeah,
Right.
it was just getting over that.
Went down to the
mental
Opera
hurdle.
House when they had the fan day. Took my kid. Glorious day. Prancing around. We got it.
God, I'm almost wishing you guys win another comp. It means that
I've
much
never
to you.
seen Stephen so happy.
What about you? You might have a go this year.
He's so happy though. Look at him. He's giggling.
It
He's up
was.
and
It was a
about.
great day. I didn't go because I wanted to be with all my friends as well. So we had a party about 30
Normally,
people.
Stephen's only happy when someone else is miserable. That gives him joy. But here,
No, there is
Can you
pure
believe it was a
happiness.
decade ago though?
Yeah.
And it's been a misery.
oh, now he's come
ever
down.
since.
Now he's
Sorry,
come
I'm
down.
bringing you back down.
Yeah, thanks a
Sorry.
lot. Shit, decade. We'll have a break now. It's getting very hot in here. We'll be
is.
back in a minute with Lara Pitt and us. Fire up.
Thompson, down the middle. Hasn't affected him, that report. Maybe it's fired him up.
Okay, we are back here with Fire Up the Quiet Australia. This should be Mad Tuesday. It's
Yes.
zip, quiet, nothing happening. But we still have a week to go,
as far as we know.
as far as we know. They may disobey the overlord, Vlandis, and come up with some nonsense.
Let's hope.
Maybe
so.
something under a tree at Moore Park.
I think it's been
Been
such
there.
a season of have and have-nots. The have-nots are all just got their tails between their legs. They can't find the zest and the desire to party right now. I don't know. Stephen, I know I'm a bit of a commercial
And you love your pizza.
font.
You love your pizza.
I love my pizza. And last week, Alex Donnelly told us how much he loved Doughboy Pizza.
Yeah.
If you go into doughboypizza.com.au,
Yep.
enter the code FIREUP, 20% off.
How much?
20% off.
Do you see that? 20% off.
Like, it was almost like they were paying me to have the pizza to watch the Broncos win the wooden spoon last week. Alex has a cause, by the way. I just want to give it a quick shout out. It's called Say It Out Loud. He's doing an event at the Bat and Ball Hotel on the 7th of November.
Yeah.
Get on Facebook, find out about it. It's for male mental health. And we really want to thank Alex for doing that. And he's associating this cause with living.
I'm starting to feel like a bit of a victim being male.
No one's touching that, Stephen.
Well, let's leave that one.
Well, you
Off it goes.
help the men.
But Doughboy Pizza have really been fantastic to have them on board. We're going to have a competition for the next 4 weeks. So you leave your email when you order, and
Yeah.
if you put Fire Up, you go into the draw.
Oh, yeah.
And the winner gets to come in and broadcast here at the Budgie Smuggler Studios and
Yes.
meet the Batuta Advocate
Yeah,
by,
yes.
have some pizza, and do our grand final wrap show.
Wonderful.
So
And
please,
make sure you order the cheesy garlic bread.
Cheesy
Because
garlic.
it is
Cheesy garlic bread,
seriously
yeah.
to die for.
Yeah. So we have to wear budgie smugglers?
Yes, that'll be part of it.
Goodness gracious me.
And we'd love to see you after the grand final, and that's by getting on doughboypizza.com.au, ordering Fire Up, 20% off. Johnny Keldoulis has done that, and he had this to say. You can customise your kids' pizza with 53 different toppings, but he only needed 2, ham and pineapple.
Of course.
Gluten-free bases, he said, essential for our family to prevent the wife from breaking out in hives. You can pre-order early in the afternoon. It comes when you want it. Best of all, in these financially troubling times, the 20% off discount, only negative, no West Tigers pizza on the menu.
Yeah, that's not
Not yet.
necessarily a negative.
You've
That's-
partaken, haven't you,
Well,
Dennis?
on
What would
Sunday,
be on the West Tigers?
It'd be meat.
Something a bit.
something that might make you choke. Something that there'll be. I suspect there'll be 9.
There'd be
toppings.
9 ingredients.
There'll be
Nice.
9 ingredients.
Well, 13 this year.
Something would be a bit off.
Yeah, something,
off.
something a bit off. Yeah, there'll be a bus.
Bit soft.
There'll be tyre tracks across the top as the bus is left. And
Be a
gone
little
out.
bit bitter at the end.
All right,
Yeah, a
I'm
little
sorry.
bit.
I shouldn't have gone there. It'll be a good pizza, I'm sure.
No, I had on Sunday night after I finished work. I thought, gee, Doughboy's on the way home, and I'm going to watch the replay. I've IQ'd the Raiders Storm game.
So the Raiders reserve grade team.
The Sammy Williams triumph.
okay.
The Sammy Williams 100% victory rate as captain. How many other captains can say they have a 100% winning rate? Sammy Williams can say it. Sammy Williams played. No one made anything of this. The first time without headgear. He's never played without headgear before. Becomes captain, takes off the headgear, scores a try, kicks 6 goals, wins the game. So anyway, I went home.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought about Doughboy.
got sidetracked there.
I've got some, and there's nothing better than sitting on the couch with a Doughboy pizza, a Doughboy ginger beer, and whoever texted in last week mentioned the cookies.
The white chocolate and macadamia
Holy
cookies.
snapping ducks. They were very good. It was and I've got a salad as well. So you can get the
Yes,
greens, get
good
the veg,
salads.
get good stuff
Agree.
in there.
You
want the Greek.
You have Sammy Williams on text, don't you?
Yes.
He also has taken out an AVO on you, is that
Yes.
right? Yeah, that's right.
Sammy is the only current first grade player who has been to my show.
That talks to me.
That has been to my show. He's the only one.
And with
God,
any
I
I
love
remember,
this
I
Sammy.
remember for about 10 years of Fire Up back at FBI, the only footy player we had on, and forgive me, Kennedy,
Martin Kennedy.
the snake guy, right?
Martin
The
Kennedy.
snake on the plains,
Yeah.
the evil.
There is a thing. There's quite demonstrable fire up curse. It doesn't necessarily. Lara?
Oh dear,
Yeah.
what's going to
It
happen
doesn't
to me?
necessarily
I'm
go
going out of here.
When Ben Mendelsohn came on, he skyrocketed in America
Oh,
afterwards. Yeah.
of
One
course.
Emmys.
One Emmys. Hello.
Todd Greenberg?
Yeah. Brendan Cowell, Avatar. Come
Yeah,
on.
well, yeah, he's with James Cameron now.
David Gallup.
David Gallup.
Well, he's
Soccer.
maintained, hasn't he? Listen, can I just say, look, I have to say it. Cameron Smith. Can I say it again?
Yes.
Cameron Smith. Yes, evil man in rugby league.
Entity.
He apparently has been teaching this Brandon. Is that his name? Brandon
Yes.
Smith.
Block of cheese.
He's a little grub, isn't he? Isn't he a little grub? Can I just say, did you watch that Max Kin tackle?
Do you follow him on social media?
I might. I haven't
think
even
you,
thought about
I think you just got to get with the youngins.
I wanna get an
because
AVO.
he's a cool guy on
Yeah.
social. He's
Is
got a
that
bit of
right?
a real following.
Can I just say-
I think you'd like him.
He's got quite the backstory too of
I'm
coming over here as a
sure he-
child and being billeted up in that's a very dedicated.
Okay, they played the
hard-working
Dragons
man.
on Sunday.
Yes.
Right.
So you
And
obviously
You're
hate him.
just judging his football.
Max
Yeah.
King, yes.
No, he's judging that he doesn't
hip
play for the
drop,
Dragons.
Come prowler, bend the guy over, nearly snapped something, and then got up and gave him a push and then another bit of lip just to add a little bit of spice to it all. That is enough for me.
Blake Laurie was your guy, and it looked pretty nasty. But I don't know, Brandon Smith, I mean, first of all, he isn't a block of cheese anymore because he had the jaw. So he hasn't eaten for 4 weeks. So he's looking very, very
He should get on
streamlined.
some Doughboy.
Hungry.
Yeah.
Lightly tasty.
Maybe that's what it is. He's just freaking hungry.
One of
He's
those
hungry. Yeah.
crying West.
Getting angry and I'm hungry.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, there's that Thai meal called the Crying Tiger. That'd be what it would be. Like it's a beef thing. It'd be a Crying Tiger pizza because let's face
Yeah,
it, we're
that's great.
crying.
That's Thai food, right? It's
Oh,
beautiful.
Wow,
Okay.
how did we get there?
But that's the Doughboy pizza because he's just realised. Yeah,
Look at
that's
Brandon Smith. Whoa.
But if Brandon Smith wants to come in for Harry Grant, we're more than happy to welcome him
Right.
over at Concord, Leichhardt, Bankwest Stadium, and Campbelltown. but the hip drop thing worries me.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you? I mean, obviously, Supercoach Bellamy was somewhat affronted.
As
Lara.
if he can play dumb. As if he's just, I mean, everything they do has been worked to an inch of its life. We know that. We know Bellamy is that fierce in what he does.
I love this. I love this chat because I get this from the husband at
Do you?
home. That when you're such a diehard fan,
Yeah.
you cannot possibly imagine that Craig Bellamy is not back there in Melbourne, just actually in a dark room
Yeah.
with players teaching them how to
Yeah, the
to
dark
do that.
arts.
He actually
Yeah.
just plugs them in. They've got a SCSI
Yeah.
thing on
Yeah.
the back. and
Robotics,
plugs them in.
Yeah.
Petri dish,
Of course they do.
Octopus
of course
DNA.
they do. They're
Yeah,
the Storm. They're disgusting.
They are.
biological weapons
Disgusting,
facility.
grubby
How can any
people.
team win in the second year of
Where's
existence?
the audio grab?
We'll just get that grab out.
We'll just cut that out on socials. That'll be perfect.
Take it out of context.
No,
It's
I
beautiful.
can take everything you've said in this whole thing out of context because your sense of humour, I'm like, whoa.
You might remember, and this is, I don't remember all the details these boys do, but Jason Riles, I think it was Jason Riles, in the scrum against
Jaime.
Melbourne.
Jaime the robot.
I think he laid one in, and it just blew the whole game apart, and it rattled them because they're not used to being rattled that way. I do think that Bellamy is in complete control of everything they do. Yeah.
I would challenge you
I know he's a nice guy.
to come face to face with Craig,
Craig, yeah,
and
say
say,
that.
do you
Yeah.
train your players to intentionally harm with those tackles?
Oh,
wing,
I think you'd
the
find
prowler.
he'd be
What
getting
else,
up
Chris?
from the
Well,
desk
there
and
was-
walking to the back of the room and going to his swearing corner if he did that because he
Well, it's
would
not a-
take some
okay.
umbrage
There's-
with it.
Chicken wing,
Yeah, the rolling pin.
the rolling pin, the prowler.
And
What
this
else?
isn't a tackle, but let's not forget the Cameron Smith wing nut when he
Yeah, the wing
The
nut.
wing nut.
fairly
my
solid.
Bailey-
If that's what set off this time
So
last
year,
year.
yeah. Well,
that's
now
right.
they can't do the
It
wrestle.
probably is.
But I mean,
Well, I think technically the term is rubbish on the face.
rubbish on the
Rubbish
face,
that's
exactly
right.
But
That's a long time ago now, wasn't it?
there's a lot of, there's a lot of Melbourne chat because it's that time of year. But Bellamy was affronted about the wrestling and also whether he was in talks with Brisbane, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting he was talking about him. Like Cameron Smith today said, The man's 64. He's entitled to put his feet up. You
Yes.
know, he's nowhere near Wayne's
Have you
age.
been to the Sunshine Coast?
But this is the thing. They're sort of talking about he likes the climate. Is he like the White Shoe Brigade? Is he going to Florida? Like,
yeah. Was he vote Republican?
I reckon they've had a ball up there on the
bet they have,
Sunshine
yeah, I
Coast.
bet,
They've
yeah.
just they all rock up to Sydney to their games and they've all got a tan.
What stays in?
Like they all look super.
What happens in the
relaxed.
bubble stays in the bubble?
Yeah, but
Well, their
they're in
bubble's a
Are they in a
resort.
resort?
They're a
yeah.
resort with
I
their
like-
families.
Yeah.
We've been talking for years that they should take a precinct in Sydney and just dedicate it to rugby league.
Yeah.
Right? Just put everyone there. Then the
Truman
atrocities
Show.
would be
Silverwater Jail.
totally contained.
Yeah.
We're seeing the prototypes for it right
It's
now.
happening. It's
I
happening,
mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're crazy if you
The
want to.
biggest thing that happens is Christian Welsh invites someone back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And that's all that happens.
Yes.
And then he misses 2 games of rugby league.
And being Christian Welsh, it was probably for a history discussion or something, right? Because he's that sort of guy. He's pretty academic.
He was humiliated by the scandal.
He was pretty upset, wasn't
Very
he?
humiliated.
Yeah.
I think that this has been bad for Melbourne. For all the bosses that are stuck back in Melbourne, they're watching them have a great old time. Brisbane are close
descent.
by.
Yes, you're saying how much.
They're infiltrating, going, oh, how nice. You're having a great old time.
Yes,
Why don't
yes,
you
yes.
come up here full time?
Here's the
Sunshine
contract.
Coast Storms.
Yeah.
How good does it sound?
Well, I mean, it is part of their mystique, let's put it that way, that they've convinced all these guys that Melbourne is a great city. And now
Yeah, they realise
they're twigging.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Well, there's the whole...
Laneways are so okay, good for so much. Cup of coffee's okay. I want some sunshine. Some
Well, they
palm
can't.
trees.
That's the thing. They can't go to the
a mini
laneway for
bar.
a cup of coffee. You take that away from Melbourne. It's got. Then they're now seeing the truth of
The
Melbourne.
truth revealed.
Dire, dour.
Stephen, I'm very conscious of the time.
Yes, we have to.
But there is one highlight that comes out of your wonderful season being St George Illawarra Dragons towards the end of the game against the Melbourne reserve grade team.
I'll give it a rest.
Why?
As if the St George team was really experienced. I mean, really.
Yeah, but that is your first grade team.
Hello.
Including-
you name the team.
Including my favourite new player, Nico Hines, who is Heath Ledger. I mean, that man is so handsome.
But there's also you said Aaron. Is it Aaron Hull or Aaron
Booth?
Aaron Booth. He looks like he's like got the Ingwe J. Malmsteen sort of eyebrows, or Nuno Betancourt. They could make a Scando heavy rock band with the hair, the looks.
I
the
reckon it was-
you could hang an
I reckon
empire off those
A
cheekbones.
fair match that game, and we won.
You did win. What worries me is I know who Ingve Malmsteen and who Nuno Betancourt is. But anyway, there was one
And do you
beautiful...
disagree with me?
No, not at all. Not at all. There's one beautiful moment. We have audio of our favourite referee,
Yeah.
Gus Gould's favourite. If only there could be 8 of these men refereeing or women every round. And by the way, NRLW is starting this week.
Yes.
We should point out difficulties with defining their bubble,
And
it seems.
Can we say farewell, Gavin Badger?
Gavin Badger,
badge.
Can we?
Gavin Cooper.
Yeah, oh, the Gavins.
Yeah, let's
Festival
farewell
of
the
the
Gavins.
Gavins.
But let's hear Chechen call one of the great moments in rugby league and how he saw it.
Yeah.
It's initially comes off a melon, then the player in an offside position grabs the ball, so it constitutes a penalty.
So kick comes off a melon.
Yep.
Comes back to another melon.
Yep.
Goes forward.
Double
Don't
falcon.
touch it.
And I mentioned my colleague Big T, who's a rugby league referee, sort of thing in the Balmain
Sort of
Birchgrave
thing.
district. And he pulled me up the other day because I said, it's not in the rule book, ref. And he goes, it's the laws. And if you actually go to law 35.3 paragraph G, you actually find a reference to when a ball comes off a melon.
Is that right?
That's right.
As called a melon.
And Chechen nailed it.
No, yes.
He was quoting the good book, the melon. He also called a knock on a doodah. See if he's done
and
the
I'm
old
gonna ask
doodah over the
right
line
now,
there.
predictions now. We're into the finals. It's a whole new competition. Did you know that?
Oh, yes. it is. How does that happen?
Who is going to win?
I'm at Panthers Friday night, and I
Same.
am going. Are you there? It won't be cold this Friday like it has been. the
Look,
last
it is
week.
Mount Everest, though.
How good has the crowd been out there? The
Yeah.
crowd noise out there.
7,000 this week.
Fantastic.
They've increased the capacity.
I guess if you've won 15 straight, you're kind of up and about and ready to make noise.
So you're saying Panther, Penrith.
I haven't done this yet. Do you know how it take? I sit on this for a long time. But so okay, I'm going to say Penrith based on the momentum and
Yeah.
all the excitement at the foot of the mountains, and they're at home.
Yeah.
And the Roosters, I still think it'll be close. I don't think that we are going to get another.
No,
I
blowout.
think it's going to be a cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be super fast. Be awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jake Friend not playing, so that's a big loss for them because they don't have a dummy half. Really, they've got young dummy halves.
Freddie
Lara,
Lussick.
we won't see that. The Jake Finn salute.
Oh,
Angel.
the angel.
Jake
The
Finn
angel.
salute.
He likes
The
to
angel. He just does every ball.
The big
Red.
angel wings come up.
seen
You know?
that?
Oh, when he's
He's always-
happy, is
yeah.
that what he does?
No,
Right.
no. When he's looking for a penalty.
No,
Oh.
he's listening for
Oh,
the
yeah,
oven bell.
yeah,
Definitely
yep.
not happy.
Yeah,
It's always
got
like,
it.
I think
right.
he's just got really tight.
Yeah, the traps.
The traps are really tight. You can't. He's got an imbalance.
I, for one, am happy for that.
Can I give a prediction?
My prediction?
Yeah, your prediction?
Penrith.
Yes.
Yep.
Panthers.
This is to win the comp, or is this just on
Oh,
Friday
I thought
night?
this is Friday night.
No,
Oh, you want to go
win
to the
the
comp?
I wanna
Oh,
win
you
the
know he's going to win the
comp.
comp.
We're not going to get Lara in before the grand final.
Oh, I was just talking Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the only team that's going to beat the Raiders is the Raiders.
Oh, beat themselves.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
it.
by the way, if there's anything that's upset me this week, it's the fact that the Souths won by so much, so that every pundit can tell you. Do you know that no team has won an NRL premiership having been beaten by 50? Yeah. So Raiders.
Okay, for the whole thing.
Yeah, the
oh,
whole thing.
wait, like seriously.
Steve.
I'm going to go Penrith. Yeah. I think
the whole thing's Storm.
The forces of
Storm,
good.
and I'm
The
Roosters.
evil team
I'm
that
Roosters.
you're-
There you go.
yeah.
We're all
And
split.
this will preempt a Joe Biden win.
Yeah.
The world is spinning on its axis
Yeah.
now. We're all coming good.
Yep. I'm saying Storm win, Cameron retires.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Brandon holds up the
and
shield.
Trump wins.
And Trump wins. Yeah. Of course he does.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lara. We really
Pleasure. Sweating it up, but love it.
very nice of you to come in.
Yeah, we did put you under pressure there, didn't we?
Tremendous work that you do every week, and we, the broader rugby league community, say thank you.
Thank you.
And you know, given that we've been providing a lot of consumer information today, the last bit of consumer information, we're going to go out with a song, Dennis.
Yes, we are. And I do want to say just how good is it that Canberra have got the milk back as a sponsor.
Oh, yes.
Front jersey sponsor. I am serious. Santa is going to fill my sack with...
What about the lactose intolerant people? Are we getting soy, almond,
The
oat?
lot.
And
The
what is
lot.
All of it?
What is
The
it
lot.
with Canberra and their relationship to China? First it was Huawei, and then they were coming over here to raid the milk, but now they can't. Now milk shares are going
It's
up.
Canberra,
What's going
mate.
on?
It's Canberra, Spice City.
It's federal.
Come on.
And a lime milk, yeah.
Oh, gee, what I should mention, I've got a show coming up.
Yes,
Official
that's-
announcement.
that is why.
October 21, Paddington RSL, the first time outside
Oh, I
the
love
Bridge Hotel in
Paddington. So
Sydney.
that's
Wow.
great. Yeah.
COVID
It's
safe, of course.
limited to 100 tickets because of COVID,
Yeah.
but playing at the Paddo Lounge on Wednesday, the Wednesday before the grand final. So it'll be the only show for 2020. Didn't
Wow.
have a whole lot booked, had to cancel them, funny enough,
Yeah.
but there'll be one show. And I thought to take us out tonight, I'll play a song off the album, it's going to be the album launch as well at this show. And, Apollo, Project Apollo was put together by Wayne Junior Pierce. And I've got a song dedicated to Wayne Junior
Was that with a little
Pierce.
help from Craig Gower?
Oh, there it is.
Goodbye.
See ya. Thanks, Lara.
He loved to play for